From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. The ball is in Chrystia Freeland's court now that Mark Carney has officially launched his campaign to become the next Liberal leader. Political watchers will be waiting to hear what Freeland has to say next, as she is widely expected to launch her own bid very soon. The former finance minister is also expected to come out against consumer carbon pricing, a key policy of her own Liberal government. As for Carney, he announced alongside supporters in Edmonton yesterday. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister is expected to offer an update today on the country's efforts to stop punishing U.S. tariffs. Melanie Joly is meeting with both Republicans and Democrats in the run-up to Donald Trump taking the White House again and imposing his promised 25% tariffs on all products coming from Canada and Mexico. Also in Washington, Energy and Natural Resources Minister Jonathan Wilkinson, who says no one really knows what Trump is thinking. Canadian tech companies, meantime, say they're looking to Europe to guide them through the limbo of prorogation here at home. They say the continent tends to have some of the newest and most stringent laws around tech issues that they hope can act as a guideline while they wait for Parliament to reconvene. Patricia Thane, the co-founder and chief executive of data protocol firm Private AI, says most large companies will likely comply with the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation. With a TikTok ban in the U.S. now just days away, many people are wondering what will happen with the popular app. Reporter Elizabeth Schulze says simply shutting it down is one option being looked at.
TikTok on Sunday just says, you know what? We're just going to shut down ourselves. That when users try to log in, they're going to see instead a pop-up message that says this app isn't available because of this nationwide ban. And you can imagine users won't be too happy about that. We are already seeing on the platform a lot of users coming to terms with the reality that this platform might not be available in the same way that they're used to it. And they don't love that.
U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, who once called for a ban of the app, has since pledged to keep it available when he takes office on Monday, although his transition team has not said how they intend to accomplish that. Now, eyes to the skies, where SpaceX is investigating the loss of their spacecraft during a test flight. Reporter Andrew Dimbert has more.
Just after 5:30 p.m., SpaceX launched the 7th test of its Starship rocket, which it hopes will one day carry people to the moon, even Mars. Minutes later, the spacecraft separated from the booster, which was able to successfully navigate back to the launch pad. But the company says about 8 minutes into the flight, a fire broke out and Starship exploded over Turks and Caicos.
SpaceX says it had made improvements to the spacecraft for its latest demo. And finally, Kamala Harris has hinted that she'll stay involved in politics and foreign affairs despite giving up the U.S. vice presidency. Even after dropping the hint, Harris has not disclosed any of her plans so far. Her historic term ends next week, and it'll be the first time she hasn't held elected office since 2004. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, it was a very busy night in the NHL. The Washington Capitals blanked the Ottawa Senators 1-0, needing overtime to determine the outcome. Another game going to OT saw the Toronto Maple Leafs top the New Jersey Devils 4-3. Elsewhere, Winnipeg topped the Kraken 2-1. Montreal dispatched Dallas 3-1. Calgary was on the wrong side of a 4-1 decision going to the St. Louis Blues. Edmonton edged Colorado 4-3 in regulation, while LA easily downed the Canucks 5-1. Over in the NBA, Canadian Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 40 points and 8 assists for the Oklahoma City Thunder in a 134-114 win over the Cleveland Cavaliers in a matchup of teams with the best records. The Western Conference leading Thunder and the Eastern Conference leading Cavs now have matching 34-6 records. And finally, Rachel Homan, Brad Jacobs, and Matt Dunstone all remain undefeated and have qualified for the playoffs at the Grand Slam of Curling's WFG Masters. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.